With a general election coming in January, Bangladesh's two main parties have increased their protests and rallies across the country. They want to mobilize their supporters and build momentum, but it's increasingly turning confrontational. Opposition leaders and critics say Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's goal is to turn the country into a one-party state.
From the previous experiences, particularly in 2014 and 2018, it has been proven that a free and fair election is not possible under any partisan government in Bangladesh. That's why we demand an election under a neutral interim government, and we also propose a new democratic political settlement through state and power structure reform for the solution of the crisis permanently.
Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch and other rights groups have accused Sheikh Hasina's government of extrajudicial killings, enforced disappearances and cracking down on opposition activists and dissenting voices. Targets have also included artists, journalists, rights activists and even Nobel Peace Prize recipient Muhammad Yunus. Leaders of the opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party say democracy has now been strangled in courtrooms across the country, as more than 4 million of its party activists are facing potential jail terms because of what it says are false and fabricated cases filed by police.
People have already given their opinion that they want a change and then want the next election to be held under the neutral caretaker government. But as regards the government's attitude, it seems till today that they are not going to give that. In that case, people will come out on the street.
In the last 2 decades, Bangladesh has shown remarkable economic growth and success. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina still remains popular, but is gradually being overshadowed by rising inflation and soaring food prices and the nation's slide towards what many sees as one-party state. Talking to Al Jazeera, Bangladesh's law minister says there will be free, fair and peaceful elections.
The question of going back to the caretaker government system does not arise, because in my understanding it is both illegal and it does not have any place in our constitution. All the institutions that will be responsible for holding the election will be under the Election Commission, which is independent.
Much seems to hinge on the opposition demands for a caretaker administration to oversee the voting. But there is no sign of any discussion or consensus between the opposition and the governing Awami League party on this issue. In 2011, Bangladesh's highest court ruled that the practice of appointing a caretaker administration was unconstitutional, but allowed it to continue for another 2 elections. However, the parliament, dominated by the governing party, abolished the system immediately. Recently, the United States and others have cautioned that the political and security situation in Bangladesh may turn volatile as the nation nears its general election in January. Tanvir, Chowdhury, Al Jazeera, Dhaka.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.